Okay, so I had some trouble with the multi-track recording setup for the P4next, so I just figured I'd make this quick video and walk through the process of making it work. This specifically is for the process with OBS, but the first portion of this is relevant for any recording software. So what you're going to want to do is get the P4next drivers from Zoom, get those installed, and this will allow you to use ASIO, which will allow most programs on Windows to actually see the multiple audio inputs that are coming through as individual inputs rather than as a stereo single channel. So for example, when you're setting up the audio drivers and stuff, you just plug it in and just hit play or just hit record on Windows. You're only going to see the line input. And what you want to see is the 4 microphone inputs, and additionally you'll see the pads. The sound pads will have their own inputs so that you'll be able to level all of the microphones and sound pads separately when you're doing audio mixing later on with your project. Go ahead and install those. You basically just click through the usual things here. Download, it'll only take a second. It's a very, very small file. Go ahead and do that, and then you're going to have the drivers. And for any other software, you'll just have to go through and do the normal process for setting up multi-track. For OBS, you specifically need to get a plugin to enable ASIO so that you can use those individual tracks. So for that, I found Andersama on GitHub, and they have an installer here for the ASIO plugin. And you just go ahead and download the installer. It's an open source plugin, so you can look in to see other people's reviews about it. But this one seems to be pretty trusted. So I went ahead and installed this for myself. Haven't had any issues. So when you're back in OBS, you'll now have an option. So under the inputs here, you're now going to have a ASIO input capture. So we're going to set that up. Let's see if we can do it while I'm live recording. Let's see. I'm just going to set this up as number 1, since I only have one microphone plugged in, at the moment at least. So for the device, we're going to select the P4next ASIO driver. Format, I'm going to set up as mono. And for channel, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, they line up with the microphone inputs, and then I believe there are 8 other channels. So with the sound pads, there's 4 different sounds that are available, and those should align with one of these other sets, either 5 through 8 or 9 through 12. So for now, I'm just going to set up the input 1. If you hit control panel, you'll actually be able to see the driver settings, which are very minimal for Zoom here. You can mess with these if you need to. I know that for some of these things, it can make audio playback a little bit quicker or reduce lag with certain setups. But yeah, I'm not going to change anything for that. And now I have that set up. You'll see that I have the soundbar dancing here, and that's all working. So this is the quick way to set that up. You can also go ahead and set up your additional microphones if you like, and just go through the same process. And you will have to make sure that while you're doing this setup portion that you have the device plugged in. All right, so I'm going to set this one up. So yeah, select the same ASIO driver, same for mono formatting, and change this channel to 2. If you don't have your P4next plugged in, you're not actually going to see these channels. You only see this while the device is plugged in. And hitting OK. So now I have all this set up. One thing that you'll want to make sure while you're doing this whole setup is that you've gone into your settings on the device itself. So I'm going to cut over here and hit menu on the device and use the little arrows to navigate down to, go back, sound pad level, USB level. Okay, so yeah, while you're recording with the device, you cannot update these settings. So this is going to be something that you want to set up beforehand. Okay, great. All right, so we're going to go in, and you can still see my levels there. So the program will actually pass through the recording while the device is not recording. So that record button just sets up the recording to the SD card that's on the device, and you can just stream through the audio directly to your computer without having to record on the device simultaneously, which is helpful, but also you like to have that SD card backup just in case you have any issues with your recording, especially if you accidentally record in, say, stereo, and the device will have the multi-track recording on the SD card, so you don't have to mess with that. We go to menu, USB audio interface, go to mode, set for multi-track, make sure that's turned on. You can go back with menu and back to the main screen here, and you see everything is lit up and ready to record. and I could hit record and get going and have multi-track recording both on the SD card and through OBS. I'll probably be posting a few more of these tutorials for a few different bugs I've run into and just things that were a little bit less than obvious when I initially searched. So hopefully this will help out anybody else who just got this device and is working on setting up for their recording space. Like and subscribe or something? That's what people say, right?